The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease
In
of
this
sorrow,
video, enjoy
sorrow
the
for the
readings of
lost
some famous
Lenore,
Halloween poems.
for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so vainly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, and there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door. Perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though the crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no graven." Ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven sitting lonely on the placid bust spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did abhor. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken, he replied so aptly spoken. Doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I reeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and an ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fairy eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight goeth o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretched, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nothing from the memories of Lenore. Quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore, quoth the raven nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all daunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly I implore, is there palm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore, quoth the raven nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall gasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Gasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fund, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest, in the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door, quoth the raven nevermore. And the raven never flitting, and still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamp light's o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the door, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the door shall be lifted nevermore. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Song of the Witches, Double, Double, Toil and Trouble by William Shakespeare, from Macbeth. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake, eye of a newt and toy of a frog, wool of a bat and tongue of a dog. Adder's fork and blindworm's sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing, for a charm of a powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble. Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. Song of the Witches, Double, Double Toil and Trouble, by William Shakespeare, from Macbeth. A Ballad, The Lake of the Dismal Swamp, by Thomas Moore. They made her a grave too cold and damp for a soul so warm and true, and she's gone to the lake of the dismal swamp, where all night long by a firefly lamp she paddles her white canoe. And her firefly lamp I soon shall see, and her paddle I soon shall hear. Long and loving our life shall be, and I'll hide the maid in a cypress tree, when the footstep of death is near. Away to the dismal swamp he speeds, his path was rugged and sore, through tangled juniper beds of reeds, through many a fen where the serpent feeds, and man never trod before. And when on the earth he sunk to sleep, if a slumber his eyelids knew, he lay where the deadly vine doth weep, in venomous tear and nightly steep the flesh with blistering dew. And near him the she-wolf stirred the brake, and the copper snake breathed in his ear, till he started, cried from his dream awake, "Oh, when shall I see the dusky lake, and the white canoe of my dear?" He saw the lake, and a meteor bright quick over its surface played. "Welcome," he said, "my dear one's light," and the dim shore echoed for many a night the name of a death-cold maid, till he hollowed a boat of the birchen bark, which carried him off from shore. Far, far he followed the meteor's spark. The wind was nigh, and the clouds were dark, and the boat returned no more. But off from the Indian hunter's camp, this lover and maid so true are seen at the hour of midnight damp, to cross the lake by a firefly lamp, and paddle their white canoe. Ballad, Lake of the Dismal Swamp, by Thomas Moore. The Spider and the Fly, by Mary Howitt. "Will you walk into my parlor?" said the spider to the fly. "'Tis the prettiest little parlor that ever you did spy. The way into my parlor is up a windy stair, and I have many curious things to shew when you are there." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "to ask me is in vain, for who goes up your windy stairs can ne'er come down again. I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed?" said the spider to the fly. "There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "for I've often heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed." Said the cunning spider to the fly, "Dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome. Will you please to take a slice?" "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "kind sir, that cannot be. I've heard what's in your pantry, and I do not wish to see." "Sweet creature," said the spider, "you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I've a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf. If you step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself. I thank you, gentle sir, she said, for what you're pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day. The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out to his door again, and merrily did sing, Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with a pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead. Alas, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his wily flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then nearer and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and green and purple hue, thinking only of her crested head. Poor foolish thing, at last up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his windy stairs into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she ne'er came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words I pray you'll never give heed, unto an evil counselor close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. The Spider and the Fly by Mary Howitt.